I am the face of Black maternal health. My name is Miasha. I am the mother of 6 beautiful children, 5 sons and 1 daughter, the youngest of which is 10 years old. I was a registered nurse and a mother of 5, so I thought I was well prepared already. I had been through this 5 other times before with no issues, so no, I didn't have a birth plan. I was going to a high-risk clinic at this time, but it wasn't because of any kind of comorbid health issues. It was more or less because of my age and the amount of pregnancies that I had had. Even though they were notified that my father had previous heart conditions and my mother had previous heart conditions, it didn't seem to pose a problem for them, or they didn't seem to think that it would cause any issues for me during my pregnancy. On my last visit to the high-risk clinic, I went in and I realized that I was feeling a little bit out of the norm. And when I got to the clinic, I asked them to check my blood pressure. Well, they did check the blood pressure, and it was not elevated enough for them to want to do anything about it. I felt very uncomfortable and very uneasy about leaving with the blood pressure at the level that it was. And so I demanded that they recheck my blood pressure again. And when I was met with opposition, then I kind of had to get into my feelings a little bit and say that I was not going to leave the clinic until somebody rechecked my blood pressure. I was told that being a nurse and learning the things that I learned in nursing school, I was taking those symptoms that I was reading and psychologically placing them on myself. At that point, when they rechecked the blood pressure, it was through the roof. And I was told that I had to go over into the hospital to deliver immediately. I had to receive magnesium, which is something to stop you from having a stroke during the delivery, because they were afraid of the blood pressure levels and the things that it could cause. This again imposed a lot of problems for my husband and myself, causing us a lot of stress during this time that was supposed to be one of the most beautiful events of our life. After delivering my son, I'm home. I am doing wonderful. I feel, like everything's starting to try to level out with my body and everything. And the real trouble began 2 days later. I went to stand up, and when I went to stand up, I immediately hit the floor, and I was unable to breathe. It was like I was breathing as if I was a fish that had been taken out of the fish tank, and I just could not catch my breath. And once that occurred, I immediately pushed the baby to the middle of the bed, got down my stairs in my house, and went across the street to my neighbor's house. My neighbor opened the door for me. They called the paramedics. They went and got my son from inside of the house, and I proceeded to wait for the paramedics to get there. And then at that point, I remember just feeling like somebody was holding me under the water. And from that point, the respiratory therapist took over telling me the story after I woke up 3 days later, and the doctors were talking to myself and my husband. That was the first time that I ever heard peripartum cardiomyopathy, or PPCM. During the time that I was in the ER and I passed out due to the pulmonary edema, all I remember at that point was going through a tunnel and hearing the Lord say, "Not yet." During this time, my ejection fraction, or the rate which your heart pumps blood to the rest of your organs in your body, was 10 to 15%. And the importance of that is that your ejection fraction is supposed to be between 50 and 55%. So I was unable to walk even short distances without becoming short of breath. After the time in the hospital, I was put on multiple medications. I had multiple examinations done to look at my heart to make sure that my heart function was going to get back to its normal state. I returned home after that 7 days, cleared by the hospital, cleared by cardiology and everything. And once I got home, again, I was home for approximately an hour, and I coughed. Once I did cough, I began to feel that drowning feeling once again, and I had not even been home for 2 hours. So immediately, my husband had to rush me back to the hospital. I went back to my original cardiologist, and it was the best decision that I could have possibly made in my life. Once I got back to the original cardiologist, he talked to me more about lifestyle changes that I could make in effort of getting and maintaining a normalized blood pressure and normalizing my heart rate. And by doing all of these things and following the instructions and the guidance from the cardiologist, I was able to go from 13 medications that I came out of the hospital with to a half of beta blocker today, which controls my heart rate. So I take a half a beta blocker twice a day, and it has been working wonders, following his instructions and continuing to do the things that he has told me to do. And it has been such a wonderful lifestyle change for me, being able to see the results. My name is Miasha. I am the face of Black maternal health.